gotta go that way. Guys, you guys gotta back up. They're going that way, guys.
Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach have had their first encounter, despite Gervonta Davis' claims about their first clash happening in the coming week. Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis have got quite a decent relationship from the amateurs, however. There's been so much bitterness between them that's quickly moved from social media to the physical.
Come on, we ain't doing all that talking. We ain't doing all that talking. We gonna see on the 15th. Come on, we gonna see on the 15th.
My shit. You see how I come over here?
Hey, we gonna see on the 15th.
My shit.
The general press conference begins next week, according to a post of Gervonta Davis on X. However, the teams of Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach met behind closed doors for some media work before their first official press conference next week. Once the teams of Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis met, Lamont Roach approached Tank Davis to shake hands with him.
We ain't going nowhere, then. We ain't going nowhere, nigga.
Well, as you would expect, Gervonta Tank Davis snubbed him, and they went ahead with other activities until it was time for the face-off. It was very similar to the face-off between Gervonta Davis and Hector Garcia, where Gervonta Davis acted provocatively and kept poking his opponent to provoke him. He did the same to Lamont Roach, who wasn't as calm as Hector Garcia. Lamont Roach shoved him as well, and the two fighters brawled before they were separated by the security guys around them. The pair looked at each other with so much animosity that you could feel how heated the first press conference was. The brawl they had was just an evidence of how brutal the coming press conference would look, and most importantly, how brutal the fight on December 14th will be. The Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. fight is slowly but surely picking up heat. After an underwhelming reaction during the announcement, fans and experts are warming up to the upcoming World Boxing Association lightweight title fight slated for December 14th at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. Both these fighters have also engaged in several online spats that have only helped hype their upcoming match.
Alright guys, turn on and face the crowd. Turn on and face the crowd now. Cameras in the back, guys. Hector, camera in the back. Camera in the back.
This fight is shaping up to be a technical bout with a sensational undercard. Both of them are strong, and though Tank is an astoundingly heavy favorite, experts and boxers are still not counting out Lamont Roach completely. Ahead of the fight, Fight Hype sat down with Richardson Hitchens and Kenneth Sims Jr. to know their views regarding the fight, and their answers might surprise you. Fight Hype asked the undefeated super lightweight Hitchens about the history between him and the two fighters and what everyone can expect from their fight. The New York resident talked about the similarities between Tank and Roach and advised the fans to not take the latter lightly. Hitchens was sure that the 25, one boxer would stun everyone and it would be a brilliant fight.
Years ago, I want to say like 2016, 2017 years ago. I think it's a great fight, you know, because this guy Lamont Roach.
Lamont came up in the same type of environment as Tank. They both got a lot of similarities. I think a lot of people are writing Lamont off because of loss against Jamel Herring, but he has shown consistency over the years, stated Hitchens, while talking about how Roach has turned his career around since the loss against Herring in 2019. The 18-0 boxer then promised the fight to be a technical feat and stated that even he was looking forward to the fight. While talking about who will have the upper hand in a technical fight, Richardson Hitchens stated, "It is going to be a great technical fight. Tank is a defensive genius. He knows how to protect himself and knows ways to maneuver."
He came up in that same type of like environment as Tank. You know, they both are DMV fighters. They both got it.
He further stated that if the fight gets dragged to later rounds, Tank will have a clear advantage because of his near-perfect defense. According to Hitchens, Roach should try to finish the fight early because if it comes to the later rounds, there is a high chance that Davis will drag the fight to his pace to get the desired result. While defending Roach as a capable opponent for Gervonta Davis, Hitchens added, "It's not just like Tank is just picking out a bum. Lamont probably knows how to fight more than a lot of guys Tank fought."
Kind of like a lot of similarities. They both boxed each other numerous times, and I think that a lot of people riding Lamont off because of his one loss with Jamel Herring, but through the years he showed he got consistently better and better. He silenced out the critics. He went and grabbed him a world title, And I think that is.
On the other hand, the welterweight sensation Kenneth Sims Jr., who has fought against both Roach and Davis, also shared his views about the fight and stated what these fighters must do to win the match. At first, the bossman avoided trying to predict the fight. As he was on good terms with both of them, Sims felt it would be a bit disrespectful. However, he later gave in and spoke about how he and Roach shared some wholesome moments during their nationals when they faced each other in the semifinals.
It's definitely a fight that, like a great fight for boxing. I think that boxing fans are trying to like basically shut Lamont out. I don't know, maybe because he's not a big name or he's a smaller guy, but I think it's definitely going to be a great technical fight. I think that Tank know that Lamont can fight, and Lamont know Tank can fight. So the boxing world,
But upon being asked what both of them have to do to win the fight, the Illinois resident mentioned how both Roach and Tank are counterpunchers, and to win the fight, one of them has to come out of their comfort zone to get the other one to open. He also touched upon the fact that Gervonta Davis is a slow starter, and it takes time for him to come into the groove. Tank starts slow, but as the fight goes, he's gonna pick it up, and then he gets busy, stated Kenneth Sims Jr. But to win this fight, he will have to go on attacking quite earlier than usual, otherwise it might be too late given how fast Roach boxes and picks up points early in the fight.
I'm looking forward to watching the fight.
Do you think the fact that it is going to be a technical fight, do you think that favors Lamont or does it favor Tank? Because I think a lot of people, they really haven't seen Tank's technical skills yet, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know Tank's technical skills. Tank is a tremendous fighter. Tank is really like...
This was a surprising take, given how most have simply written off Lamont Roach in his lightweight title debut. Artur Beterbiev inserted himself into the conversation of all-time boxing greats when he defeated Dimitri Bivol in Riyadh to become the first undisputed light heavyweight champion of the four-belt era. After scripting history last weekend, Beterbiev and his team have constantly been in the media's limelight. Last week, one of Beterbiev's coaches, John Scully, unknowingly started a beef with none other than Gervonta Davis when he bluntly stated that Tank is not in the Boxing Hall of Fame yet.
I want to say he's kind of like a defensive, genius. Like he know how to protect himself and he know ways to maneuver and to slow down the pace and different angles. I think that fight will probably favor Tank because Tank have God-given speed and reflexes. So.
Former fighter turned trainer John Scully was recently asked on the 10-8 podcast if Davis would make it into the International Boxing Hall of Fame should he hang up the gloves today. Iceman said that the current WBA lightweight world champion, whose most impressive wins came over Leo Santa Cruz and Ryan Garcia, didn't deserve it. According to Scully, the Boxing Hall of Fame should be reserved for all-time boxing greats like Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali. Scully added, "No, I mean, probably in this era and the way they do things. But for me, the Hall of Fame has always been the elite of the elites. I don't want any names, but there are guys in the Hoff that absolutely, positively, there's no way on earth they should be in the Hall of Fame. Zero." While being asked if Tank deserves a place in the Hoff if he were to retire today.
He's supposed to fight, apparently, Lamont Roach at 130. And I think a lot of people are upset about that. Like, he's not fighting any of the champions.
While Iceman Scully might have been right, Davis saw this as disrespect and decided to launch a scathing retort on Artur Beterbiev and his camp online. However, the response backfired on him brutally. The 29-year-old from Baltimore is well known for his unwavering confidence, backed up by a fighting style that's one of the most watchable in the sport and has produced 28 knockouts from 30 fights. It's widely accepted that Tank has the skill set and power to be considered one of the best boxers in the world, but some believe he is yet to consistently show his true potential against other top fighters.
He's not unified. And people still have him as a top pound-for-pound fighter. If Gervonta Davis would have retired today, would he be considered a Hall of Famer in your eyes?
The 30-0 boxer took to X and stated that even the undisputed light heavyweight champion is not worthy of that Hall of Fame. Tank Davis caught wind of the opinion and responded via X, appearing to discredit the achievements of Scully's current star Artur Beterbiev, who this month became the first undisputed light heavyweight champion in over 2 decades with a win over Dimitri Bivol. According to Davis, Beterbiev is not a good boxer and currently is nowhere near the level that he possesses.
Nah.
And you know what? Because I mean, probably in this era and the way they do things,
He wrote, "That big strong bum goofy that he trains is not a Hall of Fame fighter, and he's a bum." The post, which was quickly deleted in the usual Gervonta Davis fashion, made its way to Michael Benson, who shared the screen grab on his account. While Beterbiev might not be at the Hall of Fame level yet, he is certainly not as bad as Davis made him out to be. In reality, he is currently one of the best active boxers and certainly holds more accolades than Tank himself. This reply backfired on the Baltimore native, as the fans quickly let him know where Artur Beterbiev stands in comparison to Gervonta Davis. One fan termed the reply by the WBA lightweight champion as rather nonsensical, as Beterbiev has achieved far more accolades in his career than Tank. He wrote, "Weak comeback by Tank. Beterbiev should be on his way to the Hall of Fame, but at the bare minimum, he's certainly a lot closer than Tank," stating that 1 or 2 more career-defining victories will allow the Russian boxer in that Hall of Fame.
probably, you know. But for me, the Hall of Fame has always been the elite of the elites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're talking Sugar Ray Robinson.
Another fan mocked the habit of Tank for constantly getting into online beef with almost every boxer. He wrote, "Soft bum guy feelings hurt again, questioning Davis's inability to accept criticism." Recently, Davis also got into an online spat with Lamont Roach Jr. Another fan wrote, "He'd disintegrate you, little man, please be careful," acknowledging the power of the undisputed light heavyweight champion. Artur Beterbiev is one of the scariest boxers currently, and before facing Bivol had won every single match via knockout. Currently, in Ring Magazine's pound-for-pound list, Beterbiev ranks number 4th. Meanwhile, in comparison, Tank is still at 7th.
Talking Henry Armstrong, Joe Louis, talking Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, Muhammad Ali. Again, I don't want to say any names, but there are.
Another fan who agreed with Scully wrote, "He didn't lie. You don't get into the Hall of Fame with fighting cab drivers and tomato cans. He'd make the cherry-picking Hall of Shame, though, while questioning the matchmaking for Davis's matches." Tank has always had to face criticism over the opponents he chooses, and there is a persistent argument that he intentionally chooses easier opponents. Even his upcoming fight against Roach was heavily criticized when Tank overlooked other title holders for a unification bout and instead chose an opponent from a lower division. Another fan revived an old joke and wrote, "Tank has every reason to be upset. Should be no way he doesn't get in the Baltimore Boxing Hall of Fame," while trolling the 30-0 boxer with a snide, sarcastic remark. A few years ago, Davis jokingly claimed that he should be in the Baltimore Hall of Fame after everything he has achieved over the years, while responding to criticism regarding his performances.
Our guys in the Hall of Fame, absolutely, positively, there's no way on earth they should be in the Hall of Fame. 0-0. And
the fan revived the joke to mock Tank and stated that he would never be able to get anywhere near the Hall of Fame conversation. Both Beterbiev and Bivol are considered top pound-for-pound fighters. In fact, following his win over Bivol, he is now ranked as the number 4 pound-for-pound best boxer on the planet. Bivol also got boosted up 2 places from 7th to 5th for his heroics, while Canelo suffered the effects of the Russian's rise as he fell 2 places from 4th to 6th.
Gervonta destroyed Frank Martin. Frank had a good first few rounds by throwing fast combinations while staying on the back foot, and every time Gervonta got close, he would either angle out or clinch. But Frank's power wasn't enough to keep Gervonta away, so Gervonta continued.
The Mexican superstar was the pound-for-pound king from November 2019 to May 2022, when he fell to defeat against Bivol. Since then, he has gradually been slipping down the rankings, while he is no longer the undisputed super middleweight champion after relinquishing his IBF strap earlier this year. Elsewhere on the Ring Magazine list, WBC and lineal super flyweight champion Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez saw his ranking dip from 5th to 7th as a result of Beterbiev and Bivol's movements, while the rest of the top 10 is unchanged. Davis sits in the number 8 position as things stand.
Continued to follow, cutting the ring off and attacking Frank both to the head and body when he was close to the ropes. Eventually, Frank began to tire and couldn't keep Gervonta away or circle out quick enough. Gervonta got Frank's timing and hurt him bad in the 7th round. Gervonta goes in with
The Russian's incredible knockout ratio, 100% in 20 fights until Bivol took him the distance for the first time, paired with the contenders he has beaten and the undisputed status will almost certainly put him on the ballot in future. Beterbiev, 39, is expected to take the immediate rematch with Bivol next. Though Davis is undoubtedly one of the biggest stars in the sport, fans and pundits would like to see him consistently fight at the top level. Following a stoppage win over previously undefeated Frank Martin, his upcoming bout against super featherweight champion Lamont Roach Jr. has been met with some criticism. This is the first time in a while Tank would be fighting twice in a year, and with this, we either see a 31st knockout win for him or a first career loss. We all know the former seems more likely. But boxing is a game of shockers, isn't it? In an extended discussion about the near finality of Davis Roach, ProBox TV's Paulie Malignaggi said Tuesday that the fight represents an opportunity for Roach to build his name recognition and explore a restricted path to victory against the bigger knockout artist Davis. Roach has been a solid fighter, but he hasn't been at the level of notoriety to be in a fight like this. I don't think this is a fight that should go on pay-per-view, said Malignaggi, a former welterweight champion. If Roach had been a bona fide champion who's made 5-6 title defenses. Instead, Malignaggi said, the bout represents a cement your brand kind of thing to keep Davis winning so he can look like a winner, but people want to see more. That's not all Davis's fault. The 29-year-old expressed willingness to fight veteran 3-division champion Lomachenko, only to see the Ukrainian announce he wanted to be with his family as his war-torn country confronts its war with Russia this year. Zepeda and Davci are now fighting on separate cards in November. The fight itself is a hard pill to swallow, Algieri said on Tuesday's edition of ProBox TV's Top Stories. Malignaggi elaborated, when you look at the lightweight division from a boxing perspective, why pull up a guy from other weight classes when there are fresh young lightweights and lots of viable fights for Davis? Malignaggi praises Roach as a crafty little veteran. It's a springboard for ProBox. Roach has shown a solid chin. If he can bring those skill sets, he can be a problem. Algieri said if Roach can stack up early rounds on the scorecards, because Davis usually starts slow and puts all his eggs in the basket, that he'll score a knockout. Roach could out-hustle, out-finesse Davis, and survive late. Yes, it's possible we can see an upset. That moved Malignaggi. If Roach wins, it'd be the upset of the year. Is that what we want on pay-per-view? He asked. This is not a trash fight. Lamont is smaller and lacks the firepower of Gervonta Davis. Algieri too expects Davis to wear down Roach because his physical and mental pressure will be too stressful for the junior lightweight fighter. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis is making his much-anticipated return to the ring against World Boxing Association super featherweight champion Lamont Roach sometime in December.
My team came up with it.
that was cool too, man.
And are you the ultimate Ghostbuster?
There are a couple of dates being tossed around for the title fight, but nothing specific has been confirmed quite yet. Something similar was going on with the venue as well. Some reports claimed it could be in Washington, D.C., since both Davis and Roach are from the Baltimore-Washington metropolitan area. Meanwhile, a Las Vegas venue made more sense. Regardless, the Baltimore native has now hinted at a location where the fight may happen.
Gervonta, you've knocked out a lot of good fighters, beating some really good fighters. How much do you want to prove it against someone who's considered elite in the pound?
According to Davis's recent post on Instagram, where he took a jab at Frank Martin, Houston, Texas, seems to be the chosen city for the bout. The news has already generated buzz, with stars like Riddick Bowe, Tank Dell, and others expressing excitement. Earlier today, Tank took to Instagram to share a powerful moment from his last fight against Frank Martin. The post featured a still from the 8th round, just after Davis had knocked Martin out to successfully defend his WBA title. Alongside the image, Davis teased his next fight in December, captioning the post with December Houston, hashtag the one, hashtag long live baby Frank.
Pound. How much does that matter to you?
There's not too many people on the pound my weight class.
Like, yeah, Shakur, maybe Lomachenko is still elite. He's elite, but
it was an entirely shocking choice as Roach was not even in the discussion of possible prospects for Davis. Fans were expecting a big matchup, as names like Shakur Stevenson and Vasily Lomachenko were being discussed. The obvious weight difference was one of the reasons no one considered Roach as a serious contender for Davis. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.